So it's August 31st, 2025, and I just wanted to record a few thoughts for just general journal entry um, from yesterday. Yesterday was the book signing at Mad Red Books, and it went amazingly well. I was there with two other fellow authors, one that I knew from before, Tanya, and then Adrian is a military veteran, Navy vet that I met. And of course, the people at Mad Red Books, Josh, Zoe, Joe, the rest of their team, they were just really accommodating, very friendly, very nice. But so, how did it go with sales wise? I think I sold about four books, which is about on par with the others. It was a pretty good spread. I was mostly fiction. Tanya's books kind of straddled nonfiction and fiction, and then Adrian's books were all nonfiction. So we were a good trio, I guess, to spread out different styles and genres. The the most amazing story was the collector's edition of Prompted Hearts, which I had set for 150 bucks because it's one of 16. I decided I wasn't going to originally put it up for sale because it's the first proof copy and it's literally the only copy of the book that I have right now. And especially since they're going to be in such limited supply, I want to obviously keep at least one for myself. But I decided to put it up and just see what would happen. And a lady wandered by and read the jacket, and she was like, "Yeah, this is interesting. I like this." And so when I started piling on the extras and saying, "Oh, it's this expanded interactive version. It's got 20 unlockables with QR codes. You also get the ebook and the second book for free. You also get access to the premium audiobook that I'm working on." It just kept the offer just kept stacking and stacking. And so Joe, one of the guys ringing up the sale, came over and confirmed, "Is this the $150 one?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she walked out and she paid for it. And Adrian gave me a fist bump. Tanya was like, just mouth dropped, just like, and of course the store, they were happy too because they made 150 bucks off of a book, probably one of their most expensive book sales from this random indie author. And I was just like, that is some legendary shit. Like, yeah, I thought it was just awesome. Like everybody just knew, like, wow, you really you earned that. So that was probably the biggest thing that happened yesterday. But overall, it was just good. I think the biggest thing was that for me was that I came in with the right mentality. Even though I spent so much time and so much money on this launch, from the music video to getting all the different formats of books printed to all the technical stuff to get the flip book ready, and then all the stuff online that I did to make sure that you could read the ebooks directly on my website, that you had access to the audiobook, and that there was a video version. I mean, it's just an hours and hours and hours of work. And but I wasn't thinking about any of that yesterday. Honestly, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just like, I put in the work. I already, the work to get this partnership to be able to, be one of their signed authors. Um, I was like, I did the work. I'm here. I'm showing up. And whatever happens today, even if I make one sale, that was my goal, one sale. And like I said, I made that sale within the first probably 10 minutes after I finished setting up. So that felt good. And I felt like I'm done. I'm not thinking of the profits. I ended up making like 237 bucks, which um, definitely doesn't offset the costs that I've paid to get all of these books and all the other stuff, but it didn't matter. It still doesn't matter. It was just like, I'm doing this. I'm being an author. I'm being a novelist. I'm here. I'm signing books. I'm sharing my story with other people, and hopefully it resonates with them. And the work that I put in was just undeniable at that point. Like, it's not just the book; they got a whole experience. So yeah, I just wanted to record these thoughts. Um, Great day, and really just it was a reminder of two things that I kind of just like after action. I'm slowly getting my thoughts together to do a reflection about this whole project because it's come together so fast. It's really only been 4 months, that it took from starting. Probably I started at the end of April, and then now the book is out 4 months later. Um, One is just bundling, the importance of bundling these days. I mean, just selling a book, especially an ebook, the perceived value is so low because just online, especially with AI these days, you can just generate whole books. You can just generate stuff. So the value of an ebook is just, I mean, unless you're a big name, there's not a lot of value. So just offering that default for free, it it just is. It feels like a no brainer. Feels like these days, especially, it should be ebooks should almost always be free. And I had this thought in the back of my mind even before yesterday or anything, just because the value is just so low, the perceived value of just it's a file, it's a story, there's stories everywhere, and you're not getting anything tangible. And I think that's where the print book is better, obviously, for making profit, but they are harder to sell because people are so used to getting immediate, they pay and then they get exactly what they paid for in the digital space. But if you order a book online, it's not like that. You got to wait for them to ship it to you. You know, it just takes time. You don't get that immediate, okay, I can read it now. Um, and that's important today. That's important to a lot of customers. So when you sell in person, you overcome that, but then you have the obstacle of, okay, I've got to create a circumstance where I'm selling in person. So I need to partner with a store, I need to be out somewhere or whatever. You need to kind of create the space where you're static and people are going to come to you. And that's hard, you know, because most of us don't have storefronts where you're going to sell. You know, it's just people need to be in the mindset to buy that type of thing. So those are the two things. Bundling, ebooks should be free. If you have any extras, whatever, it doesn't matter if it's like physical swag. I had the audiobook. I had the first chapter of the audiobook. I don't even have the whole audiobook, but just anything to just sweeten the deal, like make it more than just a book. And then of course I have the expanded interactive versions to where you know you can press QR codes and you get bonuses and all this stuff. So I'd added so much that the whole package was just, and then making, of course, this is not just a regular print book or hardcover book. This is like collector's edition. I got a dust jacket, did a nice pre 3D cover, different from the other books, like completely distinct. So all this stuff takes a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. It was weeks, months of differentiating and making different versions and all this stuff. It's not easy, but I just feel like if we're indie authors, this is what it takes to like stand out. I use the analogy of it's not enough just to merge into somebody's lane because most readers they have a long TBR list or to be read list. And as a new author, you have to kind of cut them off from their current list and say, no, read this thing first. And it's hard to do that by yourself. You kind of need like a third party, like one of their friends or something, or some other authority figure that they trust to say, yeah, I vouch for this book. I like this. You should read this. And then they will insert it in. But you have to get there first. You have to get on those lists and those conversations. It's not easy. So I'm still working on it, but yesterday was a huge step in the right direction. That's it for this one.